All right, in three, two, one. Yo, everyone, you're listening to Filmmaker Mike and the boys. But for this episode, it's just Filmmaker Mike. So I just got back from a fan exclusive IMAX screening of The Batman. And oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. I could just say, wow. I could just say, oh my God, for like 10, 20 minutes for this non-spoilery review of the Batman. And it won't be enough. It will not be enough to describe to you what I just experienced and what I just witnessed. Like, holy shit. Excuse my French. It was an absolute thrill. I loved it. That's my initial experience, my initial thoughts. I found myself grinning and smiling from ear to ear, certain parts of the movie. I felt like such a kid again, and I was just amazed and entertained and amused, and wow. Let me start off by giving you the lowdown. The announcement for this fan exclusive IMAX screening came like, I want to say, a day before the actual tickets went on sale. And when I saw it, I just knew I had to go because I told myself, I'm going to see this movie as soon as I possibly can. And sure enough, when they announced, it was a big surprise. And when they announced this fan exclusive IMAX event, I was like, I'm there. I'm going. Let's go. So yeah, I got there about 15 minutes before showtime. A ton of people were in line for concessions, of course. And I just went straight. I went straight to scan my barcode. So hoping to get a physical ticket, did not get a physical ticket, but oh well. They did hand us a comic book, which is pretty cool. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see right here the pretty cool artwork. The Batman, The Long Halloween #1 special edition. It's got some the Batman inspired artwork from the looks of the characters in the movie. But it is essentially from Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. And of course, it's got the ad for the Michael Giacchino soundtrack and the original artwork from The Long Halloween. And it's no surprise, The Long Halloween is an inspiration, one of the inspirations for this movie. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. And ton of people, lots of people. 5 minutes before the movie started, they started playing these big, like projected, like motion slides. Like it looks like posters, but Batman's cape was flowing in the wind. It would switch up with like the Jim Lee artwork or the red and black Batman theme, which is awesome. There was some fan artwork. There's some still shots of the movie. There's this big collage, which looks awesome. I took some pictures of it, so I'll definitely share it on my social media on Filmmaker Mike and Filmmaker Mike and the boys on Instagram. And it was cool because as it was counting down, it was also giving some trivia, fun facts and trivia on the movie, the characters, the trailers that we've seen so far. So it was pretty awesome. And then they did, which is really cool. There was no other trailers whatsoever for any other movies, except they showed the DC 2022 sizzle reel, which they did premiere weeks ago, where they show like Black Adam, The Flash, Aquaman, and the Batman. And I loved it. I actually loved that sizzle reel. So seeing it on an IMAX screen and hearing that glorious music, beautiful. I loved it. And then right to the Batman. Movie started, and it was great. It started awesome. The biggest IMAX screen in town, loud surround sound. What did kind of annoy me though was that people were walking in late. I get it. You need to have your concessions, your snacks, but I got to be honest with you guys. I was like, fuck that. I did not. I barely ate it. I just had a quick snack before I headed over to the theater and took a few sips of water because the movie is 3 hours. But let me tell you, I did not feel that 3 hour runtime. Not at all. No, sir. I was amazed at how the movie flew by. So much happens, and there's so much that they are building in this world, in this Gotham, that's like, wow. Gotham itself is just like a Gotham unlike any that we've seen before. But then again, yeah, let me get back to that real quick. What annoyed me was that there was not one, not two, a bunch of people who were walking in late, 5, 7 minutes after the movie started. And I'm like, really? And what was the most annoying is I was in the very back row and people were walking in right in front of us, in the row in front of us. And the kid beside me was even like trying to look over because the people walking in and trying to find their seats were literally blocking our view of the movie that already started. So that was just a little annoying because like, really? Premiere. Like you guys should have gotten here sooner. Sorry, but but whatever. So yeah, the movie flies by. No spoilers, of course, for this review. Just to make it clear, I will record a separate spoilery episode podcast video discussing more spoiler filled, jelly filled, spoiler filled details about the movie for those who have seen it, or perhaps when you see it, then you can listen to that as well. But this is for those who have not seen it yet and don't want to find out any spoilers. But yes, fantastic movie, lots of action. The soundtrack and the score by Michael Giacchino is beautiful. The Batman theme, I've been listening to it nonstop since it dropped like a month or so ago. It's used very well in this film. That theme is just stuck in my head. On the way home, I started listening to the soundtrack, and I'm zooming on the freeway, and then I'm listening to the theme, dun 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 dun, and it gets louder, bam bam bam. It's like it's an incredible theme, and it is very fittingly Batman, the Batman. So the cast is superb. Robert Pattinson is Battinson. Robert Pattinson is Batman. I gotta say, I wasn't skeptical because I always had faith. I always had a feeling that he would do well. There's no actor that would ever want to play a role like this and not want to knock it out of the park, or at least have an approach where they know that they can succeed. It's just, especially given the characters past performances. However, it is a different Bruce Wayne. It's a different Bruce Wayne. It's a different take. It's a very tortured Bruce Wayne, unlike any we've seen before. And this is the smartest, the most intelligent, perhaps the most intelligent Batman we've seen on screen, Bruce Wayne on screen. That's right, the most intelligent. When you see the movie, it'll all make sense. Robert Pattinson is fantastic. So to all the naysayers, the sparkly Twilight vampire boy haters, gladly, fuck y'all. And they will be praising Robert Pattinson himself and saying, oh, he is Batman. But I can also see a certain group of people who will say, nah, he wasn't good. Christian Bale is better. Ben Affleck is better. Now, I want to say this. I said this on the last episode of the podcast. We don't get to this Batman without the previous performances, without the previous movies. Same goes for Spider-Man. We don't get to Spider-Man No Way Home and having all that nostalgia and the great performance of Tom Holland without the previous movies of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. We just don't. So and the same thing goes for Superman. We don't get to Henry Cavill Superman without Brandon Routh and without Christopher Reeve. And you can even mention the TV versions of Superman as well. Tom Welling, Dean Cain. You know, it just makes sense that way because yes, and that's the great thing about these characters. There's very many ways to approach the character and have a different performance, have a different take. And when this movie was announced with Matt Reeves, I just knew that he would have a very specific, defined take. And then they announced Robert Pattinson, and I knew, yes, we're gonna see something special, something different than what we've never seen before. This is a true detective Batman story. So if you want to see Detective Batman, here you go. You're gonna love it. I loved it. The rest of the cast as well, of course. Zoe Kravitz is Selena Kyle, Catwoman. Perfect. I love Michelle Pfeiffer, of course, from Batman Returns. Anne Hathaway wasn't bad in the Dark Knight Rises, but Zoe Kravitz does a fantastic performance on as Selena Kyle. Paul Dano as the Riddler, fan-fucking-tastic. And when you see him, when you see his performance, you will see. Amazing. Colin Farrell as the Penguin. I was actually thinking we weren't going to get as much Penguin as we do see in the movie. I mean, at least I heard that we weren't getting a whole lot of Penguin. But from what I saw, I was pleasantly surprised and satisfied. I can't wait to see more Colin Farrell's Penguin. Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon. Perfect. Andy Serkis as Alfred Pennyworth. I think his performance was good. I just wanted more. I definitely wanted more. So hopefully in the sequel or sequels. John Turturro as well as Carmine Falcone. It's awesome. And Peter Sarsgaard is also in the film as Gil Coulson. Fantastic. So the performances are top notch. Everyone is given a moment to shine, and it's just it's such a damn good time. So I had a great time watching this movie. I'm trying to see what else I can mention without spoiling anything or giving anything away, because I'll save that for the next episode, spoiler filled, jelly filled. But other than that, again, I enjoyed the movie so much. The audience, everyone clapped as the movie as the movie started. There's a handful of humorous moments in the film, which everyone responded to, I think, very well. And everyone at the end of the film applauded it again. And as far as there's no mid credits. There is an end credits, though it may not be what you're expecting. But there's something there, a little Easter egg, which I feel I need to look up now because it goes real quick without giving anything away. So, other than that, I can't wait for everyone else to get to see this movie. I would highly recommend watching this on the biggest screen possible. If you can see it on an IMAX screen or whatever alternative, or you can just see it on your regular big screen movie theater. Hey, that's better than nothing. But the IMAX of this movie, I could feel the rumble of the Batmobile on my feet. Like, oh man, that chase sequence, fantastic. Lots of great action scenes and moments. Um, just fantastic. So, in other words, I can't wait to see this movie again. I really can't. I'm looking forward to seeing it again with the wifey. Um, I can't wait for her to experience it. I mentioned to her the positive, overwhelming response towards the movie and as Robert Pattinson as Batman, and she's still a bit skeptical, which is totally fine. We liked, way back when we both were into Twilight, the Twilight saga. We watched the first Twilight movie with it twice within 24 hours back when it was released in 2008, because it was fun back then, of course. I think those movies are still fun now. Of course, Robert Pattinson as an actor has done so much more films and other great performances in other films in his body of work. So I recommend checking some of those films out. I've yet to check out a lot of the other films. But from what I've seen him in the handful of films that I saw in his other film, I knew that he would be capable of playing not just the Batman, but Bruce Wayne as well. The story and the script, the writing, I think is very solid. It doesn't feel like there's any scene that's wasted. Everything is building up to this larger story. And that 3-hour runtime, again, like it flew by. It really did. I never once felt bored or got bored. But again, I'm just speaking about myself. But man, fantastic movie, a great time at the movie theater. And again, see this on the largest screen possible, and you can't go wrong. I'm looking forward to hearing from everyone and what they thought about this movie. Feel free to call in and leave us a voice message and let us know what you thought of the Batman, so that we can share your audio, your response, your thoughts, and your quick brief review on what you thought of the Batman on the Batman review show episode. So I'm gonna cut this short for now, and then I will move on to the spoilery podcast episode. So other than that, it is a solid 5 out of 5 stars, or 5 out of 5 batarangs, I should say. The Batmobile was fucking awesome. The chase scene was awesome. Lots of other cool and awesome moments that I just found myself like smiling like a little kid, like the 5-year-old kid that was first introduced to Batman back in 1989. And what a year we're going to have, not just for DC films, but for Batman fans. We are going to see 2 more Batman on the screen come November with in the Flash movie with Michael Keaton's return as Batman, and Batfleck himself will make one more performance, at least for now. I mean, who knows? For those who are not aware, this Batman movie originally would have had Batfleck versus Deathstroke, Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke. That was the original plan for this Batman movie. But of course, that evolved into, it also evolved into Ben Affleck directing, and then evolved into just him not being involved at all. Would I still like to see that Batfleck movie with Batfleck and Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to see that Batfleck movie with Deathstroke. I think they can still do it. In a world where the DC multiverse is vast and huge, I don't see why we couldn't have multiple Batman. We're already getting it this year. We're getting 3 different Batmen on screen. So why can't we have another solo Batman movie with Batfleck versus Deathstroke? Which was supposedly, it had a Jaws theme where Deathstroke was attacking Bruce Wayne. sight unseen and like, kind of stalking him and slowly but surely attacking him where it hurts. And then, of course, it comes down to a final showdown of some sort. That was at least the plan. Sounds awesome in my book. Sounds really cool. And I'd still love to see that movie. But who knows? Anything is possible. The message and the themes in this movie of the Batman was also, I thought, very beautiful and very inspiring, very hopeful. Something that you don't really think about in a Batman film. Not necessarily, at least, or at least initially. I mean, in the trailer, he says, "I'm vengeance." So, and vengeance has arrived. Let me just say that. Vengeance has arrived and vengeance is here to stay. So, that's pretty much it. Thank you for listening or watching wherever you're streaming this. If you're watching it on YouTube or listening to the sound of my voice via Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Stitcher, Anchor, you name it. Thank you. I appreciate your time and appreciate you checking it out. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching if you're watching. And stay tuned for the next episode and let me know your thoughts. You could also call in and leave your non-spoilery thoughts on the Batman and just to let everyone know and share with everyone what you think of the movie without having to spoil it. So there you go. I hope this has gotten you excited to see the movie if you haven't seen it yet and you're looking forward to seeing it without being spoiled. Other than that, bravo to Matt Reeves and to Robert Pattinson and the entire casting crew of the Batman. They swung for the fences and knocked it out of the park, I gotta say. So thanks for listening. Stay safe out there. And remember, vengeance is here. The Batman.